waiting for it to connect. Here we go. Dave here. How are you? Today is May the 4th be with you. Or in Australia, we just say the 4th of May because we don't go in for all of that rubbish. But I'm hoping it's streaming. Let me know in the comments. I'm also watching on the monitor over here. There we go. It's working. I can't believe it. All right. So after all of that, today what I'm going to do is have a bit of a look at creating short, repetitive cuts. And also I want to have a muck around with my larger bench over here, extending the dog holes in it and not using the path guide system in the manner that you would expect. And I'm going to explain why. But the first thing I want to do is have a look at doing this. So I'm going to say hello to everyone over here, because when I'm pointing over here, basically I'm seeing what's coming. On the other monitor, you might see that when I get this camera working, it'll flick over there as well. I trust that Cole had a good show. Now, let me get this guy from over the back here and we'll get into it. Excuse me, Pierre. And I'm hoping I've got everything I need. It's been ages since I've done one of these shows and I've been messing around. I was explaining to Vicky that, oh yeah, not a problem, I'll do it. And then I was just trying to get the setup working, the other monitor, and the bloody thing. I've got a power board. This is just by the by. I've got a power board that's about this long. I'm not bragging. I've got a power board about this long, and some of the points don't work. Now, at the end of the power board is a little red light or orange light to say, yes, it's turned on. Now, each individual outlet, GPO, general power outlet on the board, has also got a switch that illuminates. So when you turn the switch on, it tells you, yes, you've got power coming out of there. Now, I had forgotten that one or two of these GPOs on the board were dead. So I plugged in beside what I thought in my stupid oldness was the switch. No, it was just the power board saying, yeah, I'm on. I spent the next 15 minutes stuffing around trying to turn the monitor on. Anyway, I finally got the power on to it, and then it still wouldn't come on. I've forgotten to turn the monitor itself on. Don't do this kind of stuff. Everything is against you. Now, you might have seen that I did a video on TSO's multi-purpose fence. This is designed for this kind of bench, MFT3s, and the bigger bench over the back there. It's really, really nice. And I am talking to them about maybe making, this is calibrated right to left. I'm also talking about calibrating one left to right to use it the other side. And this is why I started thinking along the lines of maybe you guys would be interested to see my thoughts on how to cut short pieces without relying on the track so much. Now let me see if I can work this out a bit. My track is around about 185 millimeters, just roughly that width. If I want to cut something shorter than 185, it starts to disappear under here. And it gets a bit dodgy. So there's a way that I want to use this and a block of wood, the same thickness as to what I want to cut. And I would use that as my continuous spacer and cut underneath here. So it's really, really easy, and I'm sure you guys are streets ahead of me already on how to do it. I'll undo this, drop it in there. And this one as well, I'll loosen off. This is a great fence system. I love it. I like it a lot. So the first thing I want to do is move this along here. I'm going to have a quick read over the side here, because this is what I do. This is what you guys thought you missed. You'll be turning off all over the place in a second. Let me have a quick read down through here. Nathan, hello. Wayne, morning everyone. Derek, hi everyone. John, good evening everyone. Aussie man, hello all. John, looks good here in the USA. Skip, hi Dave. Peter, hi there all. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Peter, I hope you're feeling well. Randy, hello from Georgia. Chris, good morning from Malta. Stephen, hello everyone. Nathan, tip Dave, get a permanent marker and put an X on the not working outlets. Good idea. You know, I've got another idea. I'm going to throw the bloody thing away and get another one. I think it's just going to be so much easier. Like if one or two have already decided to die, who knows, maybe the next one will die right at the wrong bloody time. So I'm gonna piss it off. I'm sorry. My language has changed a little bit since I have done streams. I have 3M and 1400 tracks, 3 meter, and constantly have to change the clear rubber due to peeling off. Well, here's a thought. On the underside, it's got the grip tape. See this here? Now on Makita tracks, that splinter guard is also this stuff. So just buy Makita's splinter guard and use it instead. See what happens. You might be pleasantly surprised. All right. So what I want to do is I want to set this guide up. First of all, I'll put put a dog in at the back and at the front. What have we got? I'll put one here in the normal spot that I put stuff in. Actually, I'm going to bring the fence forward as well, one row, because, you know, why not? That's what TSO recommend, I think. And across. And whilst I'm at it, I'm going to get some of my dog locks. Let me see what I've got here. I'll use this track here. It's already got a couple of dog locks on it. You'll find also these peel off if you abuse them. If you carry them around in a proper bag and hang them up like this, they work well. The other suggestion is I use, what is it? Give me a second. Acetone. I'll show you. After I've taken the strip off, the old splinter guard, I get a rag and some acetone and I clean and clean and clean and clean before I put the new one on. And that works really well. So there's just a couple of tips. You may already do it. Okay, now the reason I've just moved the track forward is because my dog locks were invented prior to this fence. So if you want to use my step back, which is on the bench, if you've got a Stanton bench, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You may need to cut just across the end here so that gives the fence clearance to come past. So I'm going to move that over to there and put it there, because I'm going to do some interesting cutting. And the other one I'll put back here. I don't know if I've got the overhead cam working. Let's have a look. When I find the mouse, let me see if I've got the overhead cam working. No, but I do have this one working. I'll bring it around a little so you can see what I'm up to. And down a bit. I told you the show is going to be full of warts and all. I'll be making mistakes everywhere. It is not a polished event today. Spin that around like so. And up. All right, that might be the view you want to have a look at. I'll switch it over. All right, so you can see down here, I have the fence. I'm going to adjust it to the 200 millimeters like I showed everyone. I'm going to put this in here, move my other Stanton dog lock down, don't you love them, and back, so that they're both in between. I'll spin that around so you can see that. Very, very important. If you don't put them in between, you won't be able to do that kind of a thing and have it sitting up so I can put timber underneath. Next thing is the combination square, and I'll tell you what, I've lost the bloody thing already, haven't I found it. Stop panicking. Now, 200 millimeters is what the guys at TSO Products said to set it at. So it doesn't matter what type of track you've got, just as long as you go from your splinter guard back to the end of your fence, 200 millimeters. So that's very important. We'll do that at this stage. Slide this up like so. I'll go to the other camera for that part. Might be a bit more interesting. So I have this. Slide it into there, and I'm going to slide the fence along. You may just be able to see the end of the combination square there till it touches. Then we tighten this guy up. Where are you? Oh, here. Got it. And the other one. Now here's what my thoughts were. If I've got this piece here, now I want to cut a thin strip of this material. So I start off with a large piece of the same thickness. And I'm going to cut it at, before I do that, I've got to put the little, what do they call this? Undermount support plate. Do you know why I remembered that? I write it on the underneath so I can, okay, the undermount support plate I'm going to put under here as well. Someone asked me what the hell this was. So very easy to take the track off now. And we're going to put the undermount support plate right there. We'll go to the other camera so you can see it. I'm going to get rid of this other mouse because it doesn't work. Okay, other camera. There it is there. Now it is perfectly in line with the front of the fence. Don't believe me? Let's have a look. I've got a straight edge here. I should have shown this in the video that I created. Flip stop up and there. I'll slide that down to here and I'll prove it an even better way. You watch as I slide it along. It's not twisting that. Now if I turn that slightly, you watch. Perfect. Now if I wanted to, I could also put a speed knob underneath. And you know what? Stuff it, I'm going to. Why not? I've got to do this without cross-threading it. Done. So that's not moving. Done. All right. So what I want to do now is put this board, I'll move this out of the way, and I'm hoping I've got charged batteries in my saw because it's going to be a very short show if I haven't. We'll switch over again. Okay. So now I've got my thin board. I'm going to move it along and I want to cut it. Let's say I cut it to 300 millimeters. So to do that, I'm going to drop the flip stop down, move it along until I get to 300 on the edge there. And believe me, it's there. I know you can't see it. I don't really care. Believe it. It's there. All right. I'm going to turn this one off over here because I think it's going to increase the speed of the broadcast. Okay. Let's go to the other camera. You can have a look. And I can bring that around here. And you can see down here very easily that we're at 300 millimeters. You can't see a thing, can you? Anyway, that's what I've got. I've got it set to 300 millimeters. So 300 millimeters from here to the outside of the splinter guard. And before I do that, I'm going to cut. I move around a lot, don't I? I change up my mind all over the place. Move this back to here. I'm going to cut a square end. Now this is parallel. This is very important. This thickness here is the same as down here. Very important for that to stay parallel. Get the track, put it in like so. slide this along, and this, as I say, this will be for cutting our square. Just cut a square end. Push it down. I'm going to put a link where you can get these. Now you can get them in the States, you can get them in Europe. I've got two guys over there that are affiliates of mine, and they will send them to you directly. So because it's made in America, USA, you won't get charged tariffs. And in Europe, you won't get charged tariffs either because they're being made in the country. In Australia, I also sell them. I make them and sell them here. They're a 3D print, and they have those special little screws on them. At this end, they're just ordinary screws. This end, they're the adjustable screws. I'm always changing it and trying to improve it. Get the saw, and we'll cut that off. Should I, or should I not? I'm thinking about whether or not I should hook the dust extractor up. It doesn't take long, David. Let's do it. Let's do it. Plug that in. And these are Bluetooth batteries, so I can turn those on. We'll plug it into the power board over here, and hopefully this power board's working. Not going out in sympathy for its union mate over there. And I need to set the Bluetooth on, which is just a matter of push the button down here and hold it. Wait for the blue to start spinning fast. There it goes. Turn the saw on. Dusty's turned on at the same time. All right, now I've got to set the depth, of course, so I don't want to go through everything here. How deep is this? I'll use the combination square to measure. I've got 12 millimeters. The reason I'm measuring at the moment is because I'm cutting on my bench top. I'm not cutting off the side like I normally do. So 12 for the foroncini, which is the guide rail. That's why it's called FS. For anyone who hasn't watched my reviews on Festool stuff, FS 1400 means foroncini, which is German for guide rail, 1.4 meters. There you go. You needed to know that, didn't you? Let's go 13 millimeters deep in the cut. And I'll just dock this off. Done. Now you might think that's an easy way to cut a thin piece already, but it's not accurate. I could have measured plus add 2.2 millimeters. But I want to do it more accurately than that. So I'm going to show you how to do it. Now that I've cut a square end, what I can do is flip this over, drop the stop at 300 millimeters and put it back there. Put this guy in and down. Do you follow where I'm going with this? Man, oh man, this is so simple, but it makes life very easy. And one of the reasons doing it with a Stanton bench is that I have all of this rubber supporting. So here we go. All right. Now I don't have any calipers with me. If I had calipers, I could prove how accurate this system is. Now, I want a piece of wood. Let's say this is 185. Let's say I want a piece of wood 150 millimeters long. This is the first part we're going to do. So now 300, I will add 150 to that. You've got it already, haven't you? Man, I mean, you've got to get it by now. Let's go to the other camera. So we've got this guy rocking around all over the joint. Instead of 300, I'm going to release this, move it along to 450 millimeters. Bring it along, bring it along, bring it along. To there, just want to get it right. 450. What I'll also do now is using Cole's trusty pencil box, I will write on this one. I use texter so you can see it better. I'll write that on it. And that's the spacer block. And so now I'm going to slide it in there like that. And then the other part that I've just cut, which is here, I will put beside it like that. Now remember, I was after 150 millimeters. Put the track back in. Now here's the advantage of the Stanton bench, and I'll come back up to the other camera to talk about this. The advantage of the Stanton bench is has this grip tape right the way across it. So this is non-slip stuff they use on the bottom of the tracks. Also, the bottom of the track has got the same stuff. So it's held longitudinally along the bench. This is the piece we're cutting. And also crossways, latitude, if we could say that. Vertical and horizontal on a flat plane. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I shall make sure that it's pushed up tight, and I'll do the cut. It's not going to go anywhere. Because as I'm cutting, I'm also pushing weight down. It's held it perfectly. So I'll take this guy out. There's my 150. Absolutely 150. No 0.1 of a millimeter off because of, you know, my not being able to read a pencil line or anything like that properly. I'm going to set this to 150. I'm pretty ballsy, aren't I? If it's wrong, I'm just going to turn the stream off and walk away. But you know what? It's perfect. It is perfect. I had just measured to the wrong part of that point there. So there it is. There's 150 on that. And you can see it's perfect. It works fine. So that's the first thing. If I wanted to do really, really tiny pieces, I really would need to do it a slightly different way. And I'll show you. I'll show you how I can do it another slightly different way. Where are we? I'm going to swing my stop up. Remember I said this is going to be mistakes and all, and I'm thinking as I'm going, and I'm thinking, dare I do it or not? And I think I do. The problem out here is there's nothing really to support a teeny weeny piece. You get it? So I need to put a fence down there now, like a tiny fence. So I'm going to use my aluminium straight edge. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to slide it along. Now, there is a kerf mark here. I'll switch the camera so you can see it, because it's pretty important. You'll see just here is the kerf from when I just did the cut. You can see the issue I have. I have clear space and clear space. for tiny, tiny pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this and slide it along to about there. This is now going to be a secondary fence. Do I want it like that, or do I want it flipped up? Possibly flipped up. Let me have a look. This is a bit interesting. Again, mistakes as I'm going, but I think we'll be okay. About there. And then how am I going to transition this out to here? I know where it's got to be. Let me think. I'm sure you guys are thinking at the same time. How to do that? What I could do, what I can do, here's a thought. What I can do is I can put my block in, slide it along, and get my other square. I've got a little small square here. This guy here. I can put it against the fence at that point. Slide it along until it's the right spot, which is there, and then put a clamp on it. That'll work, I think. Let's see. Move the square out of the way. Now, I want to make sure that it hasn't crept at all whilst I did that. So I'm checking it again that way. So I've turned the square sideways, pushed it up against the stop, gone to there, and now that's my 300 block. I don't want to have a piece cut that long, so what I'm going to do is, let's say we'll come back to the other camera. As I said, this is a whole lot of discovery for me at the same time, hardly any prep work. Let's say I want to cut a piece 18 millimeters long. For whatever reason, I don't care. We're going to make it 18. So in that situation, I'm going to release the clamp, move my stop up to 218 here. Now is it 300? I've got to make sure I get this right. 18 millimeters, which will be 218. So I'll pull this back so you can, 318, that's right, 300 millimeter block. We'll go back to the other camera. So I've got 318 millimeter block. So I'm going to slide this, 300 block I should say, so I'm going to slide this back to 18, which is there. Lock it. And then raise the stop up a little. Slide this guy back under. Remember not to go past my kerf line here. About there. Lower that down. Bring my block up. Put the square in. Up against that, and then slide this up to that point there, which is there. Move this guy, and hopefully we'll reach. No, I've got a better idea. Better idea. Better idea. Better idea all the time. Where are they? I have some special things. I think I've got them down here. I do. Beautiful. These guys. See that? I will undo that. Oh, this is going to work so well. I'm happy. I'm happy. I was thinking for a second I'm going to have egg on my face, but nah, nothing there. You watch. Slide this back along. These are the TDS 10s. And stop. And that's my block. Done. Right length. That is the right length. I'm going to put a piece in here. Make sure there's none of this whiskers hanging off the end. Pop it in there. Put the track on. Move this back. What were we after? 18 millimeters. And again, the tape underneath is holding it. And I will also just push against it while it starts. And let go. What do you think of that? Let's see if it's kind of right. I'll take the square down to 18. Bring you guys back into the picture. And also depends on how accurate this square, this accommodation square is as well. That is 18 pretty much. Now, why did that happen? 18, it's not quite right. Did I get the right block? Give me a second. I'm curious. I want to make sure this is the 300. Maybe I grabbed the wrong one. No, it's right. It's 300 and nearly 1, according to this tape measure. So this one now, let me measure with this. Oh, that's 18. I don't know. Anyway, it works. It works. So I've got the bench set up so I can have repetitive cuts in there all day long. And that's supporting a little piece so it doesn't kind of go around behind those other areas. I could have set up too much talking and not enough. Oh, Ron. See you later, Ron. See you later, buddy. If you don't like it, don't watch. You don't have to make comments. Just go out the side door, whatever you want. Let me have a look down through here. I'm going to read if anyone else has been having a fun time like Ron. John, morning. Morning all, Wayne. We're still traveling. Greetings from sunny Mark Bongers. Morning all. Peter, doing okay. Hope you and the youngers are all doing busier over there. Yep, Cole. Morning, Dave. How are you, Cole? I'm very well. So there we go. That's how you can cut short stop, repeating all the time. Now, you don't need to have that fence. You can use another fence, whatever you want to do. Set up a stop. But the whole thing is to create a reference block, which is your spacer, that allows you to push stuff under. It's got to be the same thickness, and away you go. Now, over the back here, what I want to do is I want to create a... oh, good. Thanks, John. It's a show. It's not a McDonald's thing where, you know, bang, 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 there's your burger, and out the door you go. This is an hour show. I'm going to have a look over the back. I need to put some more holes in my large bench, and I'll bring this camera over so you can see. I want to get all that mucking around out of the way. Let me see if I can see it from there. That should be okay about there. Like that. All right, I'm going to come around the other side. That should work. G'day, Redbud, how are you? We switch the cameras. Now, over the back here, I have a heap of holes. Let me get down here, it's a bit easier. The problem with solid timber tops is they expand and contract across the grain, which has made this top not accurate as far as the holes being perfectly in a square pattern. They're in a rectangular pattern now because this is swollen. This room is not perfectly temperature controlled or humidity controlled, so it's expanded a bit. This way, they're all perfect, not a problem. Now I've got one hole out the back here, and I want to put some more holes until I get out to the end there as well, and I might do it the same there. I'm going to use Peter's path guide, and as luck would have it, I have two of them. They sent me a second one, which is the second generation. I have not done anything with it yet. That's extremely slack on my behalf, but I think they got a fair run for their money by just giving me something. In the first place, I don't know how many 100,000 views that video's had. So they got quite a bit of exposure for the cost of one of these guides. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use John's dogs. This is John from Yellow Box Shed. John Lafferty made these dogs for me, and I'll put one in there, and I'll pop that on there. And then I've got the other one. I'll move this out of the way. The other one I'm going to put up the other end here. Now, I'm going to do that because I'm going to use a straight edge, and the straight edge is basically one of my tracks. 1.4 I'll probably use, so I'll come to about there, drop that in, and these are both able to move around, and I'll explain why. That 1400 track, where is it? This one I'll do. Now I'm going to use the back of the track, because these are pretty straight. So if I bring this down here, like so, and pull it up against both, I now am perfectly in line with those dog holes down there. I know that one's perfectly in line with all of those. And so now I can drill down through this and through here to get a couple of spots, and then we'll drill the hole. So I'll do that first. Let me see what I've got there. What are you doing, Pierre? Drill 3mm bit. Now, if you haven't got one of these, or if you've only got one, you can borrow one from someone else. I'm sure someone else would lend one to you. Done. And the other guy up here, making sure it's staying, everything's staying there. Got a bit of gunk building up in there. Done. We'll move those out of the way for the moment. You can see I've got that on the floor, of course. And now, what was I going to do? I've got to put the pins in, that's right. I've got to remember how to do all of this as I'm going along. Do I have pins in here or not? I think I've got them in the other one. Give me a sec. Okay, these pins go into there nicely. And what do we got? What do we use on those? Is it that one? Let me think where I'm at. Okay, so the pins go straight through there into there and there. So I want to drill a hole using this guy there, which I'll do with that. That's locked, that one. It's not going anywhere. I'll put the drill in until it's lining up, which is there. They do suggest to clamp it down. You know, I'll bring the camera in a bit closer. Move the saw out of the way. Yeah, don't let the door smash you in the back of the leg as you're leaving, buddy. Am I a bit rude to say that? I don't know. You know what? If you want to watch, watch. If you don't want to watch, don't watch. I'm going to come over and have another read. Randy, totally enjoying this show. Abel, blessings from Houston. Look, if there's something that you can pick up from my hour of rambling, and I keep on saying to people, this is warts and all, great. If you feel like, Ron, fine. Off you go. Going to go back over here. This is an interesting part. Let's switch the cameras again. Now, the hole that I drill here will be interesting. Now, sorry, one of the things, these drill bits are designed to follow a 3mm hole. They will not cut very well if you just want to go straight in and try and cut your 20mm diameter hole, because that pilot section is exactly 3mm. Amana Tools sent me this one, which is also 20mm, and its pilot is really, really small. So it's not trying to bury itself in the timber. It's just going in, get in front of that white part over the back there, enough to stabilize the cutters on the outside. This is the one from Peter. You can see the pilot is much longer. Okay. Put this on. Here it's bottomed out. That's okay. And we'll lift it off. Let's see if a dog goes in. Only perfect. So now I can drill that hole and I can do another marking up there. Let's see where it's going to take me. Hole, 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 hole. That's what I'm after. Okay, so I'm going to whip that off there. The whole idea is I want to get one out past the end. So I'm going to slide that off there and put it in the other hole. Take that one out. And put this guy up the end. It might look weird. I'll bring the camera around the other side. Without losing it, hopefully. Around we go. Where's it looking at? All sorts of stuff. Okay. And on we continue. I think this will work. Yep. I get over all of this without disconnecting anything. All right, I want to create that 3mm hole there. I'm going to do it exactly the same way as I did over there. Move that, move this along. So we've got touching there and touching there. So again, this is perfect. It's following along the same way I did it all down there. And this is the main one that I was after. That's the point. take it out a little bit to get me a bit more length. Okay, it's all the way through, which makes me happy. And now I have to drill that hole there. How am I going to get to there? From there to there to there. Okay, so I'm going to need to do another hole here to get that reference point. Bring this one back again. Okay, now to do that hole, I will put this one here. They're a tight fit, aren't they? This system works very well. Peter's excelled himself with this thing. Bring this back again. To there. That's the right spot. It's on the hole already, good. Done. Move that along. Actually, I'll take that one right out because that's super tight. Put that one in. Which one is it going to be? There it is. That's it there. And pull that back. There, there, and there. Done. That makes me happy. That's what I was after. This one down the end. Now, obviously, I can go along and put those other 3 holes in. I can do that later, but you know, you probably get bored crazy. This one is very important for me because it's this particular bench you can't get underneath until you get to this last part. And that's the one that I need to put the speed knob on for doing the fence the other direction. I'll show you what it's going to look like when I undo it from here. Use this guy. I'm sure you guys are going to work out other ways of doing things. Like, that's fine. That should drop in there. You know what? That's just telling me that I got it right. There she goes. Done. Loosen it off. It may have just had a slight turn on it. That's good. Slide that along that way. And there. And then this under here. Got it. That's not going anywhere. Now the reason, remember what I said? I thought it might be nice to have a swing stop going the other direction. Now little did I know, sorry, a fence going left to right, but little did I realize that the calibrations on the back are already doing that. But it starts from 1 inch. Now when you flip the stop over backwards, it's also telling me stuff on this side. Then I can flip that over and it's transposed it onto the front. It's like a a saddle square, almost. It flips over 3 sides, like one edge and 2 faces, which is something that I hadn't really considered. Now the advantage of this is, if I had another one of these down here, then I can have the track through here. The saw will run through there, obviously. Through there, and I'd use the hinged one. And I'll probably do a video on using this fence with the hinged rail, because I only just did it on that one earlier, on the MFD3 or the Stanton bench. So putting the hinged rail on here, I can then put a stop on this side after I've got my first piece cut. And that would work. Then I just take those out and I slide the piece along until it gets to the spot that I want on this side, and I'm not having to worry about the 2.2 millimeters of the thickness of the blade. It will tell me straight away you've got the right size. Let's go over here. I'll do another quick read. Redbud, I've already picked up 2 or 3 things. See you, Ron. Like you just watch and pick up. Like it's like an apprentice watching a tradesman. Like when I was an apprentice, I used to just watch. A lot of the stuff I was bored crazy, but the other times I think, something would twig just while I'm watching, so no one telling me how to do it. Just watch and pick up as you want. Nathan, good morning. Your show keeps the freezer jumping. I'm still enjoying this show. Excellent. All right. Well, it's around about 10:02 or 5:02. I don't know if there's anything else I can show you. It works. If you'd been wondering about how to do it, obviously you can use a Capex or a drop saw and just put a stop on the other side. But the thing is, you've got it trapped. It's captured beside a spinning blade if you go to the right-hand side. Where with the Tracksaw, it's a little bit safer. Just think about how it's working. And also, if you've got a Tracksaw, there's so many things you can do with a bench and a Tracksaw that, for minimal cost. And you don't have to have, a fancy Festool track saw like mine. You can use an ordinary circular saw and make up a masonite track of some sort that's got some holes in it, drill some holes in the side for it to be pinned into the right position so it's square to what you're cutting. Create a fence the same way, a bit of plywood if you wanted to, set it up with a router table. It's limitless. It comes down to the budget you've got and how much you can use this, and enjoy yourself while you're using it. Sometimes we're hand-fed a little bit too much. So you see, I was just nutting out how to do that to get all of those perfectly in line, because I did not want to have some kind of an arc shape or reference across the back of that big bench. I wanted it to be really nicely in line. And I can have a look at that by putting the straight edge along a whole lot of dogs and see if there's any rocking. Because you put it from one side and then you take it to the other side and you'll see if there's anything that's out, you'll get a rock. So, all right, that's going to do it. I will be back, I don't know, every now and then. I'll do a spasmodic show if I think there's a spot where I want to just reason something out first before I make a video about it. In the meantime, Vicky and I are flat out with her business, which is going very well for her. We just finished doing the Royal Easter show, and that was a 12-day straight stint for us. Not as much for me as it was for her. She was the one working the hardest, and we're still kind of getting over that. You don't do 12 days straight, 13 hours a day, and then walk away from it the next day and say, oh, what am I going to do now? You fall in a heap. And considering we still have to produce, and we still have to do markets, we're slowly and surely coming back. Now, I wanted to let you know that I'll be doing another video about this fence very soon as TSO ships the product over to me. And I also want to do a video on, there's a company called Limo, L-I-M-O-W. Now, it's an automated robot mower. I've had one before, and Derek is aware of the one that I had before that was sent over to me, and I didn't tell anyone about it. It was rubbish. It had an 8-inch disc with little razor blades around the outside. Useless. It's useless on my property because my property is steep and I have very hard crafts. Now this mower that's coming over to me, it's a beta model, it's a beta testing one, it's not the mass produced yet. It's a Kickstart project, and there's been 10 people chosen from around the world. Out of 300 people that applied to be beta testers, Muggins here fluked it, and they said, we'll send you one over and you can muck around with it. Now there's all sorts of things that it's got. It's got RTK and VSLAM and sensors galore. It's got radar, and it's on tracks. It's not on wheels. Now it's the big thing. On my property, the one that had wheels, had the back wheels were driving and the front wheels kept, it was like my ride-on mower. Some areas that were too steep, I'd have to reverse into and then swing the front around where my feet were to be able to turn. It's not how you'd normally do it. Like at the beginning, I used to drive down and then try and turn. There's no traction on the back wheels to be able to swing the weight of the rest of the mower and my feet and everything back up. It just starts spinning. This thing has got tracks. It weighs 32 kilograms, which is heavy. That's around 70 pounds. And it's got a 16-inch mowing track. And it's a robot. And they reckon it will do a couple of acres or 1.5 acres a day. Now, I'm very, 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 very curious to see how it will go. And I will let you guys know. I will be videoing. I don't get a brand new one. I get a prototype, and that's what I'm left with. They don't want it back. They just say use it, see what happens. So I'm very, very excited about it. If it does all that they claim, it'll be amazing. Absolutely amazing. So keep your eye open for that video when I start releasing. I'll release a couple because I don't think it's something I can do all in one hit. And I'll do a couple of posts on Facebook and Insta as well. Anyway, that's it. Look after yourselves, be nice to each other, and please post where to get your guide rail hooks here in the States. Okay. All right. I'll put a post in underneath for where you get them from the States, where you get them from UK and Europe, and also in Australia. Thanks for watching, everybody. Look after yourselves.